You know what's crazy about Margot Robbie? She didn't walk into Hollywood with a famous family name, a huge fortune, or a red carpet waiting for her. At one point, she was making sandwiches at Subway. Seriously.
That Big Short was even nominated for. I didn't even realize.
Well, good news.
I remember going to the Oscars that year because I presented, and I was like backstage, and everyone's like, "Well done on your movie," and I'm like, I really can't claim that The Big Short is my. I did half a day of work, like sipping champagne in a bathtub. It was.
That is the way
I wouldn't
to work.
call it work at all. Yeah, I said to Adam McKay, I'm like, I've gotten far more credit than I deserve for my part in this film.
But you actually make.
While dreaming about becoming an actress, Margot was working ordinary jobs and trying to figure out how the hell she was going to make it. But instead of waiting for someone to discover her, she started making things happen herself. When she was just 17, she actually called the producers of the Australian soap Neighbours and asked for an audition. Think about that. Most teenagers would be terrified to make that phone call. Margot just picked up the phone. And somehow, it worked. That job became her first real step into acting. But Hollywood was still a long way away. Eventually, Margot moved to America. And then came the opportunity that changed everything. An audition for Martin Scorsese's The Wolf of Wall Street. And across the room was Leonardo DiCaprio. Now imagine being a young actress, sitting in front of one of the biggest stars in the world, knowing that this audition could completely change your life. Margot realized she couldn't just walk in there and be another pretty blonde. So she took a risk. A big one. During the audition, her character was supposed to confront Leo's character, and Margot suddenly decided to go completely off script. She slapped Leonardo DiCaprio hard. And for a moment, everyone in the room was probably thinking, did she seriously just do that? But it worked. Because suddenly, nobody was looking at her as just another beautiful actress. They were watching someone who had courage. And that became a huge part of Margot's career. She didn't want to be remembered simply as the beautiful girl on screen. She wanted people to remember the performance. Then came I, Tonya. Here's another crazy detail. Margot was Australian and didn't really know much about Tonya Harding when she first encountered the story. But once she took the role, she went all in. She trained for months to learn figure skating, worked on the physical side of the character, and even met the real Tonya Harding. And then came one of those awkward little moments you couldn't write better yourself. Margot was supposed to skate with Tonya, but she forgot to bring her skates. So that didn't exactly go according to plan. But here's what I love about Margot's story. She eventually stopped waiting for Hollywood to give her the roles she wanted. She started creating them herself. Margot and her friends founded their own production company, Lucky Chap Entertainment. And suddenly, she wasn't just the actress in the story. She was helping decide which stories got told. That's the part people sometimes miss. When you look at Margot Robbie today, it's easy to see the glamour, the red carpets, the cameras, the fame. But before all of that, there was a teenage girl in Australia making sandwiches, dreaming about becoming an actress. A girl who was brave enough to pick up the phone and ask for an audition. Brave enough to move across the world. And crazy enough to walk into an audition with Leonardo DiCaprio. And slap him. Maybe that's the real secret behind Margot Robbie. She didn't wait for Hollywood to tell her she belonged there. She walked through the door and eventually started building doors of her own.